everyone, it's Deborah. I want to offer you a little bit of an apology. I am working like every day with one day off and then another 4 or 5 days. So doing a video takes a little bit of, stamina. Oh, that's not the word I'm looking for. You have to make time. Any one of you all that's wanting to do a YouTube channel, I've been on here for like 11 years. And I started out just talking about things in my life that I loved and that I hated. And then it wasn't until 2 years ago, I got a letter from Google saying, we have money for you. And I'm going, what? And so I never started this channel to make money. And if you think you're going to make a lot of money on YouTube, very rarely can you make a living. It would take all day or most of the day to plan a good video. And of course, I don't have all day. So there's one thing I made my mind up when I found out I could get, a little bit of money. Believe me, it's not really worth the time. I always said I was not going to give up, and I haven't. Even though a lot of my friends and family say, get off there. No. So this video is about what I was like growing up as a child and a teenager. When I was young, like I guess prepubescent, when I was like 5 or 6, I was the oldest of 4 at the time. 4. I was, because there was another child that came later. I didn't realize that there was sexism. I did not realize that boy or girls can't do that or whatever, because I was raised as a boy. Because when I was that young, I was never told, oh, you can't do this, right? And I was like doing very risky things when I was, like 5 and 6 and 7. So when I became a preteen, that's when I realized my body was changing. And all of a sudden my mother was saying, oh, you can't do that. And I didn't understand why, because I didn't understand about, sex yet. And I just couldn't understand the word no. And I would fight my mother. I mean, a lot of my friends would go off and play basketball and I wasn't allowed to go because it was mainly a bunch of males, So that would really irritate me to hear the word no. So when I became old enough to get my driver's license, I just went hog wild. I was drag racing on the highway in my own car that I bought myself. It was not given to me, people. And I was right up there with the boys at the starting line, right on the real highway. And this is none of the drag strip too. I actually raced there too. But I also bought everything for my car myself, making $1.61 an hour. So I always resented somebody telling me what to do. And even my ex knew that trait about me. It had to be something that I decided with, because I was raised to be in charge of all my siblings, so I was always the boss. So yeah, I was very, very independent. I actually had a good friend. She was a relative, something like an aunt, and she said to my mother, and she also said it to me, Debbie is extremely independent for her age. And I didn't realize that there's some girls out there that didn't want to drive or didn't want to get their license or wasn't doing things that I was doing. So I have a lot of male traits, I do believe, because of the way I was raised. I was the one who had to mow the yard. My other sisters had no interest in making the grass mowed, okay? It was me. My father sure didn't. He was from old school where you could care less if the grass grew up around your knees, you know, because he was, you know, from the mountains. So I was in charge of that. I would have to date guys who knew how to fix a lawnmower because I knew my mother couldn't do it and my dad wasn't going to do it. So also, before I bought my car, I would ride around in my mother's station wagon, and the shocks were bad on one side. So I was going through our town like this, all cockeyed. But I wanted those white letter tires. I actually got down on the ground with some white paint and I lettered those tires myself. I mean, this is how crazy I was with cars. And it wasn't until now that I gave up my Cobra. So, oh geez. But the girls hated me in high school. They hated me so much that they would try to pick a fight with me, and my girlfriend would have to get between us and I tried to talk them out of it. Sometimes that wasn't working so well. Now, this was in 7th and 8th grade. Let's see, the black girls surely didn't like me. They all thought I was after their boyfriend. Well, no, I wasn't. I didn't have to be after anybody's boyfriend. And I did date some really good-looking guys in high school, and they were the worst. So when I finally went on a date with the guy that I ended up marrying, he treated me like a princess, and he was just wonderful. And so there you go. But yeah, a lot of people wanted to beat my ass. Now, I was the kind of student, like, if everybody around me wanted to skip school, I would go with them. And I would never get in trouble because I wasn't one of those troubled kids. I rarely did skip, but when I did, nobody came after me. But then the rest of my friends were all hauled into the principal's office, but it wasn't me. And so I was a class clown in high school. And I do mean a class clown. I would do anything for a laugh. And I did plenty for a laugh, especially in elementary and in high school. So I also did not believe in homework. I think if the teacher didn't teach you what they needed to in the hour that they had or whatever, that it wasn't worth, you know, doing. And I did do my fiance's homework in high school so that he could graduate because he was too busy, like, rebuilding cars and stuff. That wasn't in his agenda. But now he's, like, really into learning and education. So what else? I got to tell you a funny story. I had my own 66 Mustang. It was a convertible. And I was laying rubber in the parking lot. And the other class clown in our school was sitting in his classroom. And we all had windows back then. Nowadays, they don't have windows. But the teacher said to him, go out there and get that girl and bring her in to the principal's. We're going to discipline her, right? He came out and he said, let me sit here and I want you to go around and I'm going to wave at the classroom while you're laying some rubber, right? Okay, he did that. I thought it was the funniest thing I had ever done in my life. Now, I saw him like 25, 30 years later, and he doesn't recall that, but I do. Yeah, I remember it. So that was the kind of student I was. I was just crazy about cars, and I never did a lick of homework in high school, but I graduated with C's. So also, when I got to college, I started applying myself. I mean, constant, and I had 2 little babies. I tried my best, and I was on the dean's list with A's, A pluses, and a couple B's in there. So I let other people influence me. They didn't really want me to get a college degree, and I let other people talk me out of it. So even though I was also taking police science and constitutional law and patrol administration, I got all A's in that curriculum, and I went on to become a deputy sheriff. But it was extremely hard to be in a male-dominated career back in the late 80s. Women's lib had really not kicked in, and it was very rare back then if you saw a female on the road. And I actually sued the county that I lived in because I already had 2 years under my belt with a highly populated city, and I go into the country and they looked at me like I was crazy when I said, well, don't I get the road job? Oh no, we're going to throw you in the control room. Well, I sued them and won because I was the most experienced. That took 6 years of my life. So whenever I was told I couldn't do something, I did it, and I did it well. Okay, but as you grow older, you kind of start doubting yourself. Oh, can I really do that? Can I do this? With the job I have now, I have to work twice as hard because I am twice as old as everybody else. Okay, some of them I'm 3 times as old as them. So I really have to concentrate on doing over and beyond the call of duty, because here is some of the things that's really going bad on me is my hearing. So wearing these masks, I have it very hard to hear some of the customers. I have to lean in, which, but I have plexiglass between us, but I can't hear certain tones. So at work, some of my co-workers, they understand that, and they'll holler my name. It's a little jarring, but I appreciate that. And since I just had my hip replaced, I can't really squat too much. I can get down there, but it's a little bit of a challenge. So yeah, I love challenges, and I've always been very competitive. And I have sometimes been so competitive that I put the men in my life, they get mad. Some men don't want a woman to beat them, but that's their problem, So I hope you found this funny and enlightening, or maybe you're mad at me. I don't know. So have a good day. Bye, everyone.